What do you remember, Diane, of Keir's relationship with Jeremy when he was in the shadow cabinet? I do recall Keir Starmer calling him a colleague and a friend in the leadership election. What was your recollection of that time?
Well, they had a perfectly good relationship as far as I knew, a perfectly friendly relationship. The only thing that they differed on was that Jeremy, in his heart of hearts, is a Brexiteer, and Keir Starmer at that point was passionately pro-European.
You think he was in his heart of hearts a Brexiter?
Yeah, sure. I've known Jeremy a long time. Remember when in the 80s, when both of us were sort of starting out in the party, Tony Benn, who was a huge hero to all of us and a hero to the Labour Party grassroots, he was anti the EU. He saw it as a conspiracy of business people and so on. So that was a common view on the left in the 80s, and I think it's a view that Jeremy still held. But Jeremy's always been about uniting the party, and he knew most party members were pro-European. But himself, I would say, deep down, he was a Brexiter.
Do you think he voted Remain then, Diane? Or leave?
Oh, he would have voted Remain, because that was the policy of the party.
Yeah. But Diane, why wouldn't you be honest with your party if you were the leader and that was where you stood?
No. Jeremy, after all his years in the party, at the end of the day, is loyal to the party.
I really didn't expect her to say that at all. I mean, two things that took me by surprise, like you say, Emily. She was pretty on message. I mean, I've interviewed Diane before at the start of the Starmer leadership, and she was much more off message, criticising him, pretty strongly. Today, actually, weirdly, I think maybe with Diane Abbott, there's an extent to which, I mean, she alluded to it there, didn't she, as Labour, as Parliament's first black female MP. Obviously, issues around racism and discrimination, they are very, very close to her heart. So there's an element to which she obviously feels uncomfortable with some of this discussion. Certainly any suggestion that any leadership that she was part of may have made in any way that worse. But certainly that admission there, which I've never heard from such a close friend of Jeremy Corbyn. You can never forget just how close the relationship between Diane Abbott and Jeremy Corbyn politically, has been. They have been long-standing friends and colleagues within the Labour Party. For her to say that, in his heart of hearts, Jeremy Corbyn was always a Brexiter, it's certainly going to get, some people are certainly going to take notice of that.
The Newsagents. This is a Global Player original podcast.